We begin CBS 2 News at 11 with breaking news. A car-to-car shooting ends in a crash in North Hollywood.
CBS 2's Lori Perez is live on the scene with the suspect search. Lori.
Crystal and Jeff, it was really scary here for a while this evening tonight as a violent confrontation played out first on the street, Tahunga Avenue, and then affected the East Valley YMCA across the way. Just before 8 o'clock tonight, police say a car with a man and woman crashed their car into that lighted sign in front of the club. We do have some video to show you. Police say the man got out and ran inside the YMCA crying for help, saying he'd been shot. There are bullet holes visible on the side of the car. Police say the couple had been shot as they were driving on Tahunga, and it appears they were followed after getting into a fight at a nearby fast food restaurant. Police say the suspects shot at the couple's car multiple times, possibly with a semi-automatic weapon. There were multiple casings we could see on the street. Witnesses say the man was shot in the arm. The woman was shot in the leg. Police say the suspect's car took off. We spoke with two witnesses. He was just outside. She was inside the YMCA. They didn't want to give us their names or show their faces, but they described the chaos as a frantic man ran into the busy and crowded YMCA.
He said, "Please help me. Somebody call the police. I don't want to die. Call the paramedics, please." He was running all over.
So I ran out, and she was screaming. I mean, literally, just screaming to the top of her lungs. And she was saying, "Am I going to paralyze? Am I paralyzed?" I was trying to calm her down.
Now, the YMCA did go into lockdown for a brief time just to be safe. Police say they don't yet know what the initial argument was about. As for the suspects, they don't have a description other than to say it was men possibly driving a red BMW. They say the victims are both reported in good condition at local hospitals. We are live in North Hollywood tonight. I'm Lori Perez. Back to you.
Thank you, Lori. The search now on for the so-called silver revolver bandit in the Inland Empire. Police say he shot a clerk at a Circle K store before running off. Officers think the armed man is behind a number of robberies in the area.
And now they want your help finding him. CBS 2's Hermela Aragawi live in Riverside with the dramatic video. Hermela?
Good evening. Police say this store is not the suspect's only target, just the latest in a series of armed robberies and attempts that they say are getting more aggressive each time.
This guy is dangerous.
Frightening moments for this store clerk when a man posing as a customer approaches the counter Wednesday night and whips out a gun.
It's kind of sad. Like, you really don't hear too much like that going on this side of town.
Customers look on in shock as the suspect yanks the clerk around and pulls him towards the register. Police say when the clerk couldn't open it, the bold thief shot him in the arm and left the store.
Just committing any type of robbery is one thing. Using a firearm, that's another. Now actually firing that gun during the course of that robbery. Yeah, this guy is extremely dangerous and we want to get him off the streets.
Riverside police say the man they've dubbed the silver revolver bandit for his weapon of choice has done this before. They believe he's responsible for 4 other robberies in the Riverside and Moreno Valley area.
It looks, though, that this one at the Circle K the other night was the first time he actually used that gun and fired at somebody.
We spoke with customers of the store, which is on Sycamore Canyon Boulevard, and they tell us it's not something that they would expect in this area.
I'm shocked, honestly. I'm really shocked. I'm surprised, I'm shocked, it's sad. There's no other words to describe that. It's sad.
Police say the clerk is in stable condition and is expected to be okay. They say they don't know much about the suspect, so if you recognize him, they're asking for your help. Live in Riverside, Hermela Aragawi, CBS 2 News.
All right, Hermela, thanks very much. An Orange County teenager known for his YouTube surfing videos is now a suspected serial burglar. 18-year-old Quinn Caspar got a lot of attention after surfing the wedge on an air mattress. But now police believe he's behind a rash of home break-ins in Newport Beach and Corona Del Mar. When officers searched his storage unit, they say they found hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stolen property. Caspar is now facing several felony charges, including burglary and resisting arrest.
Now to breaking news overseas. A deadly stampede at a nightclub in Coronaldo, Italy. 6 people dead, dozens more hurt. Fire officials say people panicked and ran for the exits after someone sprayed a stinging substance in the air. One teenager who got out said at least one of the emergency exits was locked.
Stunning new details in the Russia investigation. President Trump's former personal lawyer could end up behind bars for his crimes. And there are new revelations on how the president's former campaign chair violated his plea agreement. Court documents were released today.
And the new details could lead to more criminal charges against Paul Manafort. CBS 2 political reporter Dave Bryant is here now with the latest on the Russia investigation.
This is a little close to home for the president. These were two of his closest associates, of course. Tonight, President Trump's former attorney, who's also known as his fixer, is accused of committing two crimes in coordination with and at the direction of President Trump. But the president says he's all clear in the Russia investigation. In a court filing Friday, New York federal prosecutors say former Donald Trump attorney Michael Cohen, known as Mr. Trump's fixer, should go to jail for 4 years for a long list of crimes, including tax evasion, making false statements to financial institutions, and illegal campaign contributions. New York prosecutors say that President Trump directed those illegal payments to ward off a potential sex scandal that could have ruined Mr. Trump's chances to win the presidential election. In that separate memo to the judge, lawyers for the special counsel's office say Cohen met with investigators from the special counsel's office on 7 separate occasions and provided useful information about discrete Russia-related matters core to its investigation.
What really matters here, and what's highly significant, is how Michael Cohen helped Robert Mueller's investigation of relations between Donald Trump and Russia.
The special counsel's filing also revealed that Russia reached out to the Trump campaign as early as November 2015, a full year before the presidential election, offering political synergy and proposing a meeting between candidate Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin.
The president clearly has surrounded himself with people that are willing to commit crimes and have been found guilty of crimes. You might say he's the head of a criminal family.
President Trump, however, does not see it that way. He tweeted, "Totally clears the president. Thank you." Now, the special counsel also delivered memos Friday about President Trump's former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. They charge that Manafort lied to investigators on a wide variety of subjects, including his relationship with a man who was tied to Russian intelligence and about his contacts at the White House as late as May of this year. Jeff, back to you.
All right, Dave, thanks very much. The Ventura County Sheriff's Department says a CHP officer's bullet killed Sergeant Ron Helis in the borderline shooting last month, not shots fired by the gunman. Sergeant Helis and the officer both ran into the bar. The shooter started firing immediately at both men, hitting Helis 5 times. The medical examiner says those were potentially survivable. But an FBI analysis revealed a 6th bullet hit Helis in the heart.
I delivered the message to him yesterday. Had no clue that was coming. It was a surprise to all of us. He's devastated. He's a consummate professional, well-trained, military background. And as the sheriff said, it's still under investigation.
The identity of that officer has not been released, but we do know that he is on voluntary leave.
A CHP officer behind bars tonight charged with child molestation. Robert Stefano accused of soliciting underage victims for sex acts dating back to 2010. That is according to the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Stefano has been a CHP officer for 12 years and is assigned to the Morongo Basin Station. He was an assistant softball coach in the area and also helped with church youth groups.
An independent investigation into claims of sexual harassment here at CBS has turned up accusations against Dawn Hewitt, the creator of 60 Minutes. That's according to the New York Times, which has seen a draft of the report. In the 1990s, a former worker claimed Hewitt sexually assaulted her on repeated occasions and destroyed her career. That's a quote. The New York Times says in total, CBS agreed to pay $5 million to the woman, plus $75,000 a year for the rest of her life. Hewitt retired in 2004. He died in 2009. Jeff Fager, his successor, also faced allegations of sexual misconduct, which he denies. Fager was fired earlier this year for sending a threatening text message to a correspondent. A CBS spokesperson declined to comment tonight on the New York Times report.
And getting charged for driving. Should LA charge a rush hour fee to try and reduce gridlock?
Southern Californians share their first-hand accounts of the riots in Paris. The images straight ahead.
And a CBS worker is out of a job for choosing to fight back against a robber.
Hey everybody, I'm Garth Kemp. Coming up, got your weekend forecast. It's on the way.